let me warn you and let me warn the nation against the smooth evasion that says, of course we believe these things. We believe in Social Security. We believe in work for the unemployed. We believe in saving homes. Cross our hearts and hope to die. We believe in all these things. But we do not like the way the present administration is doing them. Just turn them over to us. We will do all of them. We will do more of them. We will do them better. And most important of all, the doing of them will not cost anybody anything.
Thousands of people get a big thrill out of looking at model houses, and a much bigger thrill when they buy one. This couple is going through a model house now. Suppose we follow them. The husband apparently isn't very keen about it all, but you know how wives are. So in they go to this delightful living room. The girl is tremendously impressed with the room and its furnishings, but the fellow still just doesn't seem interested. Just give him, a good book and a comfortable chair. Until his wife sees him, then it's a different story. Get up out of there, boy, and get going. They find that the dining room is small, but adequate for their small family and for moderate entertaining. And so they pass on to the kitchen. This cheerful room with its many handy cabinets impresses even this skeptic. And his wife is entranced by the modern flat-topped stove. And by such convenient features as the sturdy built-in ironing board. Well, now let's see what we find upstairs. First, a peek into the guest room with its modern furniture. Then a glance into the bathroom with its glass dressing table. He likes this even though the water isn't turned on yet. Just a fleeting glimpse of the nursery, for they don't need this room yet. And then a thorough inspection of the master bedroom. This canopy bed strikes his fancy, and it seems quite comfortable too. But the wife is more interested in the ample closet space. And so they leave, reluctantly it seems, for they both would like to have this place for their very own. Too bad they can't afford it. Ah, but maybe they can. For according to this sign, they can buy this house with monthly payments that are less than they now spend for rent.
Years ago, the cry was westward ho as pioneers built a new nation. Nature was kinder, but today, drought and impoverished soil have forced a new exodus, northward to Alaska. From these barren farms in Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, 1,500 men, women, and children are moving. Uncle Sam is lending the money. He's taking them to greener pastures in Alaska, to fertile lands, normal climates. Here's one family ready to go.
I hope when we get in Alaska that things will be better up there and I can make a living without asking anyone for help.
When we get there, I'll do my best to make a real home for my family.
For years, life here has been severe, but in Alaska, 40 acres of land for each family, a $3,000 loan, farm equipment, a new chance to live. It's a 3,500-mile journey, but none are happier to go than these wives and mothers who close a cheerless door behind them for the last time. Pioneers of the 20th century. Interested? Write to Harry L. Hopkins, FERA, Washington, who's doing the job for the president. A vanguard leaves. At San Francisco, the North Star sets out with 80 skilled workers who'll clear the way, build huts, carry food and tools. Northward ho to southern Alaska, mild climate, rich soil. A new caravan moves on, not this way, but with the same spirit that guided our forefathers.
I come from Alabama with a banjo on my knee. I'm going to Louisiana, my true love for the sea. Oh, Susanna, don't you cry for me. I come from Alabama with a banjo on my knee.
All of you have seen shacks like this one. Millions of them housed whose breadwinners once had steady jobs. Now they have been out of work for years. Many of them face the prospect of being jobless for some time to come. Their jobs have been taken by machinery. Every time a dial system is installed, it takes jobs away from 2/3 of the telephone operators. When sound was introduced into motion pictures, it forced out almost half of the nation's actors and musicians. However, the jobless may hope to escape from such shacks as this. The Relief Administration is building rural communities where new industries may find workers and where these people may grow their own food in place of the direct relief paid for by the more fortunate. The rural communities are also workshops where the new pioneers may make the things they can't buy. The first of these rural communities is in the piney woods belt of East Texas, at Wood Lake. Here's Wood Lake at the very beginning. These men had been on relief until they got this work. You see them at the start of the job, hauling logs to the colony sawmill. At Wood Lake, they cut only part of their lumber on the spot, but it's different at some of the other rural community developments of the FERA. For instance, at Colony Number 1 in Arkansas, practically all the lumber was home sawed and cost much less than it would have if bought. Here at Wood Lake, these trained carpenters and painters who had been on the relief rolls played their part in the construction of the houses and other buildings. Each man got the full wage scale as provided for in the code governing the industry, and each man was provided with enough work hours per week to keep his family in food and other necessities. Well, let's meet some of the colonists. These men once were white-collar workers, but now they're farmers and doing very well indeed at the job. For instance, corn growers, they rate right well. Here's a foreman inspecting their corn. He says it's plenty good for this section. Some of the men came on while the colony was building and got the first crop started. Their pay, the way they put it, was $21.50 a week, 21 meals, and 50 cents. They worked from daylight till dark at this sort of job in the fields. When they came in from the fields, they often pitched in and worked at the canning plant until midnight. After that kind of a day, they could eat their own cooking and like it. And they could sleep like babies. After 4 months of roughing it, they were still getting along with each other. They worked together on the large field in which each man has 12 acres. This shed at Wood Lake is full of farm implements, also owned and worked cooperatively. Here's cooperation in another part of farming, keeping up the fertility of the soil. No barnyard manure goes to waste at Wood Lake. The East Texas sandy loam, like any other soil, must have its fertility replenished. Observe this building closely. It may turn out to be the most important structure in the community. It's the shop. Perhaps from it will grow up little industries to give the colonists cash income and make them consumers once again. Let's look in on a Wood Lake arrival. The truck is bringing down the road a man who was once a public accountant in Houston, but who lost his job and had been on the relief rolls for a year until Wood Lake came along. He came up several months ago and batched it while his family stayed in Houston. Now he knows what it's like here, and is bringing up the folks. While they roll down the road, we can see some of the houses in Wood Lake. You notice they're built on the same lines the first settlers in East Texas followed in designing their homes. Most of them have the open porch in the center in order to let the Gulf breezes flow through. That's sensible. It was to make houses that would be easy to build and comfortable under the climatic conditions prevailing in their section. A bird's eye view, which certainly shows that these houses are far apart so the colonists know they're out in the wide open spaces. Oops, almost forgot our stranded public accountant from Houston. Well, here he is. Well, it looks like home sweet home with ground and lofty improvements to the kids. Your father has leased this place for 3 years. He has the option of buying it the 3rd year. He can pay it out at $15 a month. Where'll he get the money? Why, from his share of the proceeds from the surplus farm products over and above their own needs that the colonists deliver to the Relief Administration. That is a pretty light unloading job, isn't it? But that's all the furniture the family had left after Dad was out of work for a year. While we're down this way, we'll drop in on one of the neighbors. But the colony's social worker is just ahead of us, so we'll be on our way and not disturb her important work. There's a place for play in Wood Lake, a park of almost 300 acres given to the colony by a Texas woman. It contains 2 lakes, and there's 8-pound bass to be caught here, so they say. It's picnicking day in the park. Plenty of room for everyone, and the enjoyment starts with the food. And can the colonists take it? The fellowship that follows the food is important too. When people play together, it's easier for them to work together. There's provision at Wood Lake for fun indoors as well as out. This community house was given with the park. Here the people have their public gatherings both for pleasure and business, and it's a musical center, this community house. The Wood Lake Church, it's non-sectarian. Each denomination in turn invites a representative to hold services, and the congregation is of good size, no matter what the faith of the leader for any particular service. The New Deal has given these people what they wanted more than anything else in the round world, a chance to exchange their work for home, food, clothing, and education for their children. Contrast the lot of the shack-housed family with the contentment of this Wood Lake group. The families in the colonies are on the path of the pioneer once again. They are taking a fresh start on the new frontier.
My wife is sitting next to me, and on her knee is Anna Eleanor Dal, our oldest grandchild, and then comes my daughter, Anna Dal, and on her lap, Buzzy, and then comes my mother. Standing behind me, Franklin Jr., and my oldest boy, James, and my youngest boy, John, and my son-in-law, Curtis Dal. And so we're starting on the cruise tomorrow. What's our campaign slogan, Sissy?
Happy days are here again.
Begins. It's from dawn to dusk and after. That's the way things are on the farm. Summer and winter go by. It may be dark in the barn, but you've got to milk just the same. It may be hot or cold, but the feed has to go to the cattle. Everybody has to help. If you marry a farmer, that's the first thing you learn. Winter go by, but the water has to be pumped and the fire lighted. This is 1940, but the farm woman's day is long. They don't complain, the women like Hazel Parkinson, but they know on an August morning how hot the stove is going to be at noon. They may not say much about it, but they wish you could just turn a faucet to get your water the way you can in town. They know, and their children know, the work that goes into raising food for a nation. Milk ringing in the pail, white and clean. Fresh milk for the town and the city. Milk that makes bones and muscles for the children of a nation. But milk has to be properly cooled or it'll spoil and sour. Milk is the cash crop for a family of 7 here on the Parkinson farm. The check from the dairy means sugar and coffee, clothes and shoes, and all the things this earth won't grow. It's good land here. Not prime, but good. Long-settled land. Bill Parkinson was born here in 1889, the year his father bought the farm. Bill's the milk cook from the dairy. Fresh milk goes to town. But this hot day, there's something wrong. Sour milk, good for pigs, but not for human beings. Hard to cool milk right in August if you haven't the right sort of pump or equipment. Sour milk, good for pigs, but the milk check won't be so big this month. Wash day in the women's work. 7 people make a big wash, but it's got to be done every week. You can't leave your men folks dirty. They might get used to it. Heat the water, carry the water, pour it in the tub. Every week, just like cleaning the lamps. That's the old way, the hard way. Yes, there is a machine to do the wash, but it runs by electricity. Electricity is hard to get. Power companies want a profit. They get it in the city where people are scrunched up together. But the farms are left in the dark. 3 farms out of 4 are left in the dark. 75% of all farms in this big, inventive country. Seems wrong somehow. Is up on the line. It took till now. Only there's still the ironing to be done. Light. The light of 70 years ago, before electricity was born, hardworking people deserve the best tools man can make. Bless this food to this family. They have earned it not by easy tasks, but with their strength and their toil. They're wise in the ways of the earth. The long day ends in quietude, but the day's work isn't. Lamplight and homework. The capital of Illinois is Springfield, and the cattle of Nebraska is Lincoln. The knife has to have a good edge for tomorrow's mowing. Wouldn't be so hard if you had a good light on your work. Wouldn't be so hard with power to turn the grindstone. Now they talk it over, the country way, the slow, cautious decision of the people. Electricity. About time we got around here. But the power company says, you can see their lines go cross country, see them in the sky, but they don't bring the power down to the farm. Say it costs too much. Power company won't do it. But I hear there's a new kind of power. Government. That's right. I hear there's an agency, Rural Electrification. One night in the district schoolhouse, Bill Parkinson's neighbors get together. The county agent meets them on their own ground. The REA was set up by the President and the Congress in 1935 to help farmers to get the power and light at a price they can afford. The REA loans money at low interest rates for line construction and, where necessary, for generating plants to the cooperative set up by the farmers in the community. There are no private investors, no profit making. You don't risk any cash yourself except a small membership fee. You get power at cost. When the loan from the government to your cooperative is paid back through your electric bills, you and your neighbors will own your own electric system, your own lines.
Lights up! 600 systems operating in early 1940, spreading their wires over 45 states. Well over 500,000 farms, schools, churches, stores, and rural industrial plants getting electric service for the first time. 300,000 more expected to come on these lines, and new lines going up almost everywhere at the rate of 500 miles a day.
Wires swing out to the country. They're stretching out, long wires, reaching out where wires never went before. Power for the Parkinsons. They're lifting the pole. Hoist up the transformer. It means kilowatt hours of electricity. 1 kilowatt hour will do a week's wash. Will grind 100 pounds of grain. 1 kilowatt hour will hoist 2 tons of hay. Kilowatt hours don't get tired. Clean ice. No worry about things souring and spoiling in summer. Many farmers read their own meters. Well, that may sound queer to people in the city, But in a cooperative, if you tried to cheat, you'd only be cheating yourself. Fresh milk, clean milk for the town, cooled by the running water. No returns from the dairy, no more milk that should have fed the children gone to the pigs. A turn of the hand means drinking water for the horses. A turn of the hand instead of minutes at the pump. A big week's wash, but it won't ache any woman's back. No bending over the scrub board, no rubbing and scrubbing while your arms and fingers ache. Here's the first thing women ask for after light itself. If you have ever ironed for an hour, you'll know why. An electric iron may not look important to a man, but it lightens one whole day's burden for a woman. We've got the power from the high lines now. It'll help us out through night and day. And we've got new tools for the old toil. We'll learn their ways and set them to work. Set them to work to help us all. Neighbors working together. We hired the money and brought the wires. It's our own power and our own light, and it will belong to all of us here together. And long day ends. Things will be easier now.
Just hand me my old Martin, for soon I will be starting back to dear old Charleston far away. Since Roosevelt's been re-elected, we'll not be neglected. We've got Franklin D. Roosevelt back again. Back again. Back again. Back again. We've got Franklin D. Roosevelt back again. Since Roosevelt's been elected, moonshine liquor's been corrected. We've got legal wine, whiskey, beer, and gin.
Mr. Cromwell, I've got great news for you.
What's the excitement?
The Depression is over.
The Depression is over?
Over, do you realize that? Factories are opening up, men are going back to work by the thousands. Our farm products are being sold the world over. Savings accounts are heaping up, the banks are pouring out new loans. There is no unemployment. Fear has been banished, confidence reborn. Poverty has been wiped out, laughter resounds throughout the nation. The people are happy again. We're out of the red. Pull yourselves together, the future is bright. The merry over. Victory!